Hey there guys, how you all doing? You are here with Sam, and today I'm bringing you a Levolutionary analysis of Battlefield 4. Now this is in response to a lot of questions I get, which is my view and my analysis of the Levolution aspect of Battlefield 4. Now we've heard a lot about this, and it is probably one of the most exciting aspects of the game, and something that really sets it apart from other first-person shooters. I don't think I've seen another game where you seem to have the power over the dynamic of the battle that you will do in Battlefield 4 with the incorporation of Levolution. And one of the things that makes it so good is the variety of scale of Levolution. So you can do the big events like toppling the skyscraper in Siege of Shanghai, bringing the aircraft carrier into land on Paracel Storm, or we've even seen footage from a different map where you can actually flood the streets, completely changing the dynamic from using land vehicles to having to use attack boats. So it's a great opportunity to really change up the battlefield and change the dynamic. Now one of the things I like about it is it does bring more power to the infantry, and I really like to play as infantry. I don't mind getting in vehicles, but my preferred position is always on the battlefield, running around with my assault rifle in hand, trying to change the way the game goes like that. And it's sometimes quite difficult on Battlefield 3 when someone gets in a vehicle and is just sort of driving up and down your spawn and just firing round after round and killing everyone who spawns there. That gets quite frustrating, and there's not much you can do about it. But in Battlefield 4, especially with Levolution, we're going to have more power to the infantry. So there's little things like, if this is happening on certain maps, you can sort of raise bollards and block vehicles from getting to certain areas of the map. So in those parts of the map, it will just be infantry on infantry. You know, you can do things like shoot fire extinguishers to disorient your opponent, knock out the lights. These are all things we know. These are all things we've read several times now, seen on different trailers and on different analysis videos. But it is this aspect that makes Battlefield 4 look like such an interesting, unique and excellent gaming experience. And it means with this ability to change the dynamic, every single battle will be unique. For example, for the big events of Levolution, you may actually see the sort of sub-objectives that you have to get to in order to trigger these events being defended by one team because it does not benefit them. They'd rather, say, the streets of the map stay unflooded because the players on that team are better in land vehicles than in the attack boats. Now, if the players on your team are better in attack boats, they're going to be fighting to try and get those streets flooded to not only allow the attack boats to come in, but also create new positions for the infantry, because obviously the streets you were in will now be underwater, and you can now reach areas that you couldn't reach before. So it doesn't just open new opportunities for vehicles, it gives you new positions to fight from as infantry. Similarly, if you're on Paracel Storm and your team is in favour of using aircraft to try and win the battle, the other team is going to try and get that aircraft carrier unhinged and blown in land, because as soon as it gets blown in land, we know now the infantry can then take control of the anti-aircraft guns on that aircraft carrier and start taking out your aircraft. Now this is another thing I really like, because it will again completely change the dynamic of that battle within the space of one game. You might be playing a game on Paracel Storm and find that it's sort of all happening above your head up in the sky. It's all sort of aircraft and aircraft, but then somehow someone manages to get the aircraft carrier in land. Suddenly there's this huge threat of an anti-aircraft gun, and people have to ditch their aircraft and get boots on the field and start fighting down on the ground. So that's the dynamic completely shifted from a battle in the air to a battle on the ground. And also it's going to create a new thing to fight for, because obviously with this aircraft carrier there'll be new positions on the aircraft carrier itself to take up. We know how much some people love to camp with a sniper rifle, and guaranteed there'll be some places up there to camp. So it's going to be new places to fight for, new places to defend, and new places to watch out for. So Levolution doesn't just change the battlefield, it brings new battlefields into it, which is what I think makes the big impact with that. So those are the things that I'm excited about, because depending on what map you're on and depending how your team likes to play, it will be different every time. So if your team likes to play as infantry, you won't find that team trying to flood the streets, because they'll want to stay on the ground and stay fighting as infantry. But if the other team likes to use attack boats, they'll be fighting to try and get it flooded. So again, you'll have to try and defend that as well as defending your objectives. So it really does add an extra dimension to the battlefield and will make it an extremely intense and exciting experience. But whether it's the big moments from crashing the destroyer to flooding the streets, destroying the huge skyscraper, right down to the little things like shutting out power, using the metal detectors to work out where the enemy is, and disorienting people with fire extinguishers, Levolution is going to excite and interest every single player on the battlefield and make Battlefield 4 something extremely special. So that's my analysis of it, my thoughts. It's one of the main aspects of the game that makes it such an exciting release for me, and I hope you guys are excited too. Many of us will be able to experience it on the 1st of October in the beta, and I really can't wait for this. But I hope you enjoyed my analysis of Levolution. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. But in the meantime, you guys take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon.